Welcome back to The Price of Business. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. David Ciccarelli, he's with me. He's with Voices.com, and it's a talent website. I think about crowdsourcing. I think probably a lot of people in the voice business, which includes myself, we both love you and loathe you. You know how that goes.
Well, I've heard that before many times. Thanks for thanks for having me on the show today, Kevin. I mean, it's one of those fascinating, really arts in a lot of ways that people don't realize that there's more than just reading a page of script or just stringing a few words together. There's a whole art and science and even a technology behind putting together great audio productions.
Give us a 411, if you will. Give us the history of the company.
Sure. Well, my background is in audio engineering. I started a small recording studio in London, Ontario, just about an hour outside of Detroit, actually, just across the border. And
I used to say I grew up just north of Canada. I grew up in Detroit.
Hey, you know what? Somebody gave me a great business tip a number of years ago. It's like, reference a common, location, a landmark, and especially if you're opening a small restaurant or something, it's like, it's across from the Grand Theater downtown. Oh, I know where that is, right? And it's a point of reference. But
yep.
So we started this studio, and the local newspaper actually took my photo and put it in, read a little story about the studio I opened up on my birthday of all days, and unbeknownst to me, my wife, Stephanie, wife-to-be, I guess, at the time, read the article and came in to record some work for her singing career. She would sing at weddings and funerals and special events and so forth, and we just hit it off. And because of that same newspaper article, I had a number of other inquiries that were saying, hey, can you do voices for a local radio commercial, our phone system, and we want a female voice. Well, I only knew one girl in the whole city, so I called up Stephanie. I said, come on down, we'll do these recordings, and we'll split the money, and that's kind of how it all kicked off. I mean, since then, we really transitioned into building a website where we don't do the voiceovers ourselves, anymore, but rather we create a marketplace online where clients, big, brand name clients, can come to the website, and even small businesses and advertising agencies can search for, audition, and then ultimately hire a freelance voice actor.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And so how old is the company? When did you get this thing launched?
We're approaching 10 years. So, I mean, it's as the first couple of years were certainly a lot of validating the market. Is this a good concept? Attracting the first group of customers. But yeah, it's been, just coming up on the 10-year mark. I think we're at eight years now.
Yeah. Very interesting. So, and I'm assuming that the market is validating the concept.
Oh, yeah. I mean, absolutely. It's interesting because, especially the global market for what we call language services is a $26 billion market worldwide. Now, that includes, not only the voiceovers for all kinds of applications, not just radio and television, which most people traditionally think of, but if you think of, every business you call into, as you said, love it or loathe it, you have a phone system that has a voice on it. You have documentaries that are narrated, not always by Morgan Freeman, or James Earl Jones. Sometimes they're narrated by, people who have great storytelling capabilities, all the way through to video games and books, publishers who are digitizing their books and putting them into audiobook format. So, I mean, it's a very large and diversified industry.
Yeah, interesting. Learning more about Voices.com. Kind of tell me how it works for the talent.
Sure. So the talent really have a background in a couple of areas. Either they have artistic background, in which case they are trained in acting or always love that performance side of things, or a lot of folks come from a background of public speaking or radio as well too. And basically they're looking to utilize those skills in a broader fashion. And so they can go to the website, as you said, Voices.com, and sign up for free and create a profile. So if you think of like your resume online, but instead of having your resume on LinkedIn where someone might be scanning it and reading it, this is almost like your audio resume. So you would go and create a profile kind of who you are, what kind of services you do, what kind of voices you do, if you do celebrity impersonations, describing your voice, and then most importantly, uploading a few sample recordings of your voice. So we have scripts that you can read for all kinds of fake commercials and faux commercials, if you will, and different kinds of uses, even entire dialogues. But the important thing is to record 30, 60 seconds. Doesn't need to be a long initiative whatsoever, but enough that a prospective client who would be interested in working with you could listen to your voice. If they like what they hear, then they could hire you through the website.
So what is the, you have 3 levels, guest, premium, light, and premium. Are you going to get business from guests at the guest level?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, to be clear, it's what we would call, and this is a pretty common business model on the web, is what's known as freemium, right? So there's freemium services and then upgraded premium services that someone could subscribe to. So the main, to answer your question, Kevin, I mean, absolutely, people who are guest members, do get work. The kind of challenge, though, is that there's a lot of guest members who are on the website. So you're positioned lower within the search results. So think of it as, you're subscribing to the service. Obviously, we want to honor you for using the service and paying for the service, so therefore we're going to position you higher within the search results. So that comes with the premium subscription, as well as the ability to proactively reply to the job postings that come to the website. So rather than being kind of in a wait-and-see mode where works for some folks because they have a really differentiated and unique skill set. Maybe they speak several other languages, or they're just great at pulling off celebrity impersonations. Those kind of skills certainly would be hired through a guest membership. But for other folks, then the premium is the way for them to go.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what it entails with about a minute left for those who are looking for talent.
Sure. So the talent, there's actually almost 100,000 voice talent from around the world who speak over 100 different languages. Basically, the best way to do it is to, as I mentioned, either use the search engine, which is located at the top of the website, and you can do so by putting in a keyword of the kind of voice that you're looking for, or maybe even the type of work that you want to ultimately have done. That's kind of where you're doing a lot of the work yourself. The best way is to actually post a job, and people will actually reply to you with sample recordings of your script. And then further, they will provide you with a price quote. So it's almost like a quoting system, a request for quote system. And that way you get to not only listen to actual, people reading your, script word for word, you also get to compare the prices and ultimately choose the best candidate that's right for you and
David,
your organization.
Sorry, I got to wrap it up, but I do have one last question. So are the employers paying to use the site?
They do. There's a 10% transaction fee built into the payment platform.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. And then you pay the talent directly.
Exactly. So we serve as that trusted intermediary between the two parties.
David Ciccarelli, he's with Voices.com. If you're looking for a voice or if you are a voice, you might want to check him out. Thanks for being with us.
Thanks so much.
All right. When we come back, we're going to have more for you. We want to remind you, best content here shows up over there at usdailyreview.com. While you're there, like him on Facebook, follow him on Twitter.